Sunflower from Post Malone taking us down to the bottom of the hour. And like I mentioned, we're talking with our friends from AIRCARE. Brendan Stone, our general manager, is in with us. Stephanie DeMaderis. I want to call you Riddell, Steph, but I know
okay.
You've got the married name now. Stephanie DeMaderis, communications manager. Good to have you guys here. All's well with AIRCARE. You know, now we're making the transition, from... We kind of had a wimpy winter, wet, yes, but not as cold as we remember them in the past. So folks are going to be like, Jesus, in the 70s again and humid, time to turn the AC on again.
Yeah, I was just going to say, it's just started to heat up. I feel like a little bit. I mean, we're not summer yet, but it's just starting. So
I'm riding in just my tracksuit instead of 2 layers, or 3 layers, depending. But we say all that to say that, maintenance is a priority. And before you need all the major cooling, now is the time, right? To
Absolutely.
get all that done, right?
Absolutely. And I think it's just important for your listening audience. If you don't know what HVAC is, we're talking about heating, ventilation, and air conditioning. And basically it regulates the temperature and the air quality in your house. So, yeah, I just wanted to... make sure we're there.
We're on the right page.
I remember starting and all the acronyms are a lot.
You have to learn a whole new alphabet.
Exactly. So just pointing that out. But yeah, maintenance now is definitely the time. It's starting to get a little bit warmer, but you may not be using your air conditioner yet. But in preparation for the summer, it's definitely time to start thinking about, if you don't have a regular maintenance schedule, just getting it checked out, making sure it's okay. We do get a lot of calls and get very busy when the sun really kicks in. So to avoid having to wait a couple weeks for an appointment, it's like really good to start thinking about it now. And there are a lot of benefits to having regular HVAC maintenance.
How
and maybe
many times a year, Brendan?
Maybe Brendan can share a little bit about that.
Depending, I guess, on the system, right?
It definitely depends on the type of system and the use that you put it to. I mean, some people run it 24/7, 365.
I know people who run it all year.
So if you're doing it if you're running that much, you probably want 4 times a year.
Sure.
Okay. It's enough for most people.
Sure.
If you're one of those people that runs it for 2 or 3 months in the summer and a month or 2 in the winter, then I'd say twice a year is going to be enough for you. Yeah.
Before you really need it to work hard for you, basically, is what we're saying.
Yeah.
Because, all of the not running for a while can cause issues, or not cause issues, but something could be, before you kick it in full speed ahead again.
Yeah, and you want to make sure there's nothing growing in it. There's nothing
growing in
it. It happens.
It happens, I'm sure.
It definitely happens.
Both inside and outside, in all honesty. You get sometimes you get a tendril of grass will grow up into the fan or whatever.
I call them plant fairies might float in from outside.
But also in the outside unit, I think Brendan shared with me before that some of the techs have found like frogs and lizards that will crawl in the outside unit, right?
Sure. Oh, absolutely. Sometimes there's critters.
Yeah. In the drain line, things like that. Things crawl up the drain line. Sometimes they come back out. Sometimes they kind of hang out and stay in there.
Sometimes the tragedy happens too, and you find the remains.
That's
of
a
such
nice
critters.
way to put that. A tragedy happens.
Happens. But basically, we're laughing about it. But it is improved energy. It's cost savings. It's extended equipment lifespan, optimal performance. All of that in a bag of chips.
What you just said is actually, in my opinion, and I guess everybody feels differently about different things.
Sure.
But in my opinion, that's the optimal performance of your system is probably one of the biggest benefits to regular HVAC maintenance, because when your system's performing optimally, you're happy, but also your energy bill is going to be happier at the end of the month. If your system has to work harder to get the same job done, or, maybe not even, it can't even get there, you are using far more electricity. So if you invested in a unit that is energy efficient, you're not getting the most energy efficiency.
Most value out of it.
Yeah, exactly. You're not getting the most out of it if you're not ensuring it's running at its optimal capacity the entire time. And I don't know if Brendan has anything else to add to that, but it's very important.
I mean, that's it's exactly the right thing. I mean, even the simplest things like mowing your lawn, stuff like that, the grass, leaves, whatever else gets
kicked up,
sometimes kicked up, stuck into the back of it. So your fan on the outdoor system has to run harder to try to pull some air through there to get some heat transfer. If it can't do that, then it's not going to cool, but it's going to work really hard trying to
and
cool.
there's a knock-on effect from that
Yeah.
too, as in wear and tear.
Yeah,
right?
Yes.
definitely.
In mechanical parts, yeah.
Yeah.
So all of that, and plus the fact, the thing we've emphasized most often with you guys is air quality as well. You know, because gosh, everybody's allergic to everything these days. I just traveled with some friends who have kids with allergies, and how just yeah, there's a lot to deal with sometimes with upper respiratory issues. So preventing that mold and bacteria growth is sometimes, you know, a real health issue, and generally a health issue anyway, but a real health issue for those that have sensitivities, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, in indoor units especially, obviously, because it condenses air on the inside of it, so water on the inside of it, so you do end up with water on the inside of the unit. That will absolutely provide a breeding ground for mold and bacteria if it's not maintained.
And is it
But
something where the units are, when you have a maintenance schedule, these units are fleshed out with something, some sort of you know, cleaner or detergent?
Yeah, we'll put some cleaner in the drain pan, but also they will, you know, if they are dirty, they can take them apart, clean the fan blades, and you know, clean that drain pan and use some you know, different cleaning products on it to make sure that we kill off whatever's growing in there.
And not that we're talking about our indoor air quality specific units today, but if you are calling AIRCARE to have your system maintained, checked, or because you're installing a new system, we also have small indoor air quality units that sit on the top of your split system.
Okay.
So you don't see it at all. It makes no sound. It only uses like 1 watt of energy a month. Well, I don't even know how.
1 watt. It's just
1 watt. Yeah. Okay. 1 watt.
It's continuously 1 watt. But.
Continuously 1 watt. Thank you, Brendan. But they can install that at the exact same time, and maybe Brendan can. I know that's not the point of this, but maybe Brendan can tell us a little bit about how that indoor air quality unit works in tandem with your AC unit.
So the indoor air quality unit, the Clear Sky, that one is called. It sits on top of the unit. 1 watt is a tiny fraction of a light bulb, if you know, teeny tiny amount of electricity. As Stephanie said, it doesn't make any noise, doesn't use much electricity. But what it does is it creates ions that, when your air conditioner is running, it will blow those ions out into the room, and those basically attack the they're perfectly safe for humans, pets, all that sort of thing, but they attack the bacteria and the mold spores and things like that that are naturally flying around, you know, blown around the room, and they'll start to break those things down. So it's gonna purify the air within your space in a similar manner to the ions the sun creates, does the same thing. So it's effectively bringing a little bit of that inside for you.
So I just think, like, if you're calling AIRCARE anyway and you're interested, if they're coming to your house anyway, you know, it's not a bad thing to add on if you want to consider that.
Yeah, for sure. Now, so signs that your unit might need some maintenance if it hasn't been on all winter, and you know, we just had a hot and humid weekend go by, and you put it on, but you know, it doesn't seem to be doing what it should be, or there might be a smell, or it didn't make that noise before. That's like the warning signs, right?
The smell and the noise, I think, are the two really, really obvious ones. You know, you turn it on and it smells musty or something like that, or a ticking noise or a thumping noise or a belt. You know, that
Something
sort of strange noises that it wasn't making before. Absolutely, yeah. You want to give us a call before something goes more wrong. Certain things are fixable up to a point, and then they go past that point, and then it becomes, well, actually you've got to replace
this now.
something. Yeah.
For sure.
And not to bring up your energy bill again, but if you constantly use your air conditioner, and you notice that there is a sharp increase in your energy bill, it is worth checking to make sure your system is running properly.
Sure, because if it's running continuously and not cycling on and off, you're going to notice that increase in your bill.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that could be a sign of something going wrong.
For sure. And understanding that all equipment has a lifespan.
Yeah.
I suppose, say, you know, what is, you know, the general, when it comes to warranty, I know there's a certain amount of time, but for general use that's well maintained, what is the lifespan of sort of your premium brand right now, Brendan?
I mean, if you said 10 years, you're probably in the ballpark. I mean, Bermuda's climate tends to be, as we all know, fairly aggressive towards things made of steel and aluminium and that sort of thing. in other countries further away from the ocean, you'd probably get a little longer out of them. And sometimes, you know, if they're well maintained, you would get, you know, a couple of more years out of them. And you hear about people making it to 15 years and things like that occagetally.
But again, I bet that's with
regular maintenance and care.
Maintenance and
absolutely.
care, right? What so what should folks expect to happen when this maintenance visit occurs?
So, you know, the technician will come to your house, they'll set up, they'll, you know, get the ladder out, they'll take the cover off the unit, they'll clean the filter. Most wall units have a washable filter. If you've got a central ducted system, it'll have a replaceable paper filter. So that'll get thrown away, the new one will get installed. Depending on how dirty it is, they might strip things like the fan out of it, you know, take the drain pan out, whatever it may be, so they can clean it properly. If it's not too bad, they might, you know, say, well, that can wait till next time. It'll be a shorter visit this time.
Sure. Okay.
And just general checks to make sure things are operating as they should. Make sure that, as I said before, there's no strange noises, strange smells, that kind of thing.
Yeah. Now, when it comes to the refrigerant, that is something that has to be replaced every year, and I know there are different ones now that are kinder to the environment.
So refrigerant should never, in a system, refrigerant should never actually leak out. If the system is properly sealed, the refrigerant should stay in there, and you shouldn't have to touch it. I mean, ultimately, at some point in the lifespan of the system, there may be a leak in the system. On a residential system, you're going to notice pretty quickly, because at some point in the, you know, a very short order, it's going to stop cooling, and then it's going to throw up an error code.
Sure.
But no, ideally the refrigerant stays in the system, because it is fairly bad for the environment.
Yes.
And
as you say, they are
touch it.
You
You should not, if you do suspect a leak,
Something is leaking.
you need to call
Don't
someone
touch
who's
the stuff
trained
that's
to deal
leaking
with it.
out. Yeah.
You can actually get from a serious or a fast refrigerant leak. You can actually get frostbite from
Sure.
that.
Yeah.
Just because of the pressure. So yeah.
All of that's going to be checked, along with all the sort of mechanical parts, coils, compressors, fan blades, all that.
Yeah, they'll wash them down. You know, wash the coils, especially outside, to make sure you got the grass and the dirt and the salt. The salt's the big one. Get the salt off it, so that it's not just sitting there kind of eating into the metal, because that does happen.
It does happen, yeah. And of course, you know, a blower inspection and fan blades, like we mentioned, lubrication when necessary. Sometimes it just might be, you know, the fan making a little noise, needs some lubricant. And of course, make sure the thermostat's, you know, doing what it's supposed to do. It's cooling to the desired temperature and so on.
Yes.
All of these things are going to go on in your AIRCARE general maintenance service call. And like we were mentioned at the start, you know, now is the time to book it before you guys get, you know, up to your eyebrows in maintenance calls.
Yeah, and it's also a good time as well, because if you come out and you get a recommendation that the system needs to be replaced, or you need parts replaced, or you should upgrade, and you decide, yes, I'm going to do that, you still have the time before the summer kicks in now.
And in case things need to be ordered or whatever, right? You
Absolutely.
know?
I do think AIRCARE keeps a pretty good stock of things, right?
We do keep a very good stock of residential systems and some commercial systems too, to be honest. But we generally have a good stock. But in the summer, obviously, as you expect, if everyone waits till it hits 82 degrees before they call in, then everybody calls on the same day, and we have 40 odd technicians, but
and I also wanted to add as well that don't be scared to call AIRCARE if they're not the ones who installed your systems.
I was just going to mention, you guys will even come in and help a person out, even if you weren't the original installer.
Absolutely.
And because, you know, when it comes to HVAC, there are general rules of thumb that go along with air conditioning and heating and the plumbing that is involved. So I think that's a really cool thing. Then, you know, AIRCARE can then develop a maintenance schedule, even if you weren't the ones to do the original install.
Absolutely.
And of course, if it's time for the new stuff, AIRCARE's like Christmas. They got everything you want to pull out of a box.
Yes.
And so to have that consultation, come in, have the conversation with them about what you think you might need if you're either moving to a new home this spring, or starting a new home even this spring. There are some building contracts, I'm sure, that are coming to fruition with the housing market right now. And now is the time to give them a call. You can always call them. They will actually answer the phone, folks. Yes, they will. 292-7342 is the number. to schedule your AIRCARE pre-summer maintenance. What else can they do if they want to schedule that? They can send you an email, right, guys?
Yes, they can also, anybody, you, the listener, can email info@aircare.bm. Like Shelley said, call us 292-7342. If you just wanted to do a little bit of research first, you can always visit aircare.bm. We also have a Facebook, AIRCARE LTD, and we also have a Twitter, AIRCARE Limited, all spelled out. But if you wanted to come in and actually physically talk to somebody, maybe see some of the units, because obviously each unit may look slightly different and you might be concerned about the style of your home, you can always come into our parts department, which is 25 Serpentine Road. When you get there, it's a large parking lot. If you just go all the way to the back of the parking lot, you'll see the sign to go into our showroom, and as soon as you walk in, all the air conditioning units are on the wall. Sure. You can also ask to see some of the indoor air quality units if you were interested in that portion as well. And so, they're open Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., 25 Serpentine Road. You can just walk in, take a look at the units. You can ask for a product sheet if you want to walk out with something, or we can email it to you if you're just in the research phase.
For sure, yeah. And for all the contractors out there, they get a 50% discount in the parts department as well. And you just got to come in, and there are no dumb questions.
No, never.
See the folks at AIRCARE, because they want to make sure that you have a cool summer, as the song says. We just about run out of time. Thanks, guys, for coming in today. And I just felt today, it really felt like a spring day today.
Yes.
When I came out, and hopefully, we'll see what Mother Nature does for the rest of the week.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Before we make any other predictions. Thanks for coming by, you guys. Always fun to see you.
Thank you.
Come by again anytime you want. Can't say you didn't know. We just told you all about it right here on Bermuda's Best Music Mix. It's Ocean 89.